The lady who sells okpa at the junction in my neighborhood has been there for the past 7 years. Her okpa is very nice, but she hasn't thought of scaling. Same thing with the akara woman that sells around the corner. Same thing with the lady that sells provision beside your house. Our parents were raised up with the hand-to-mouth structure of living. Even if it's not the business that gave you that money, if you're in your building phase, you need to see your business as an entity. The reason someone is asking you for help is because they are in a place of help. It will be hurting yourself if you go to put yourself in that place of help to help them. Give them so much money, you become bankrupt. These people have a good business running for them, but for some reason they don't think of scaling. If you've asked yourself that question, I have an answer for you. Business education cuts deeper than knowing how to make money, save money, and invest money. Learn to pay yourself. This is what I do. I learned it from the richest man in Babylon. Open a money market account. Put your money there, allow it to gain interest. Every single 10% you remove, don't save it in another bank account. It reduces in value. Put it in your money market account. I had up to 500,000 naira in my business account, and I was dead broke in my leisure account. Our parents, they were very successful when we were younger. You get to a certain stage where you hear the stories of how they had money, they had houses, they had cars, but a certain point came where everything just dipped. And it always drove me to ask that question. Is it a curse? Because I've seen it across lots of Nigerian families. I finally dug my head into research what exactly has given these millennials the comfort of not thinking to scale. They've done businesses longer than all the big companies we hear about. Definitely know someone who sells in your neighborhood that has been doing that since you were small, more than 15 years. But for some reason, they still complain that they are broke. In this video, I'll be outlining 3 reasons why our parents are not billionaires. What exactly is the problem? One of the very, very interesting things I've noticed in the Nigerian culture is our parents were raised in the civil service era. So most of them at all, there are very few of them that you would see running their own businesses. But majority of them are either doctors, bankers, they are working for someone. And so they have this way of trying to impact that same strategy or that mindset into us, that you read fast though, so you go and find job. Do you understand? But one of the things that drew my attention is I've heard of multiple companies. I mean, Money Point, OPay, these big multi-million-dollar companies. They have not stayed 10 years in the industry. They haven't stayed 9 years in the industry. Most of them haven't even stayed 7 years in the industry. But they are raking in millions. While the lady who sells okpa in my junction, till today, her okpa is good. Everything is nice. But then it's as if there's a cap. She is just trying to make it through the day. Every single day she comes out to sell, sells the same amount, goes back. And when I'm seeing this, it pains me because there should be a way. You have the demand already. You have a very nice product. Why are you not scaling it? Why are you not thinking of employing someone to start selling in the next junction or in the next 2 streets? Why is it just this place? If anything happens to her, she's not selling for that day. If at all her children are around, it's her children that come out to sell, if they agree. So why is there a disconnect between the way Gen Zs, we make money or we see life, and the way millennials do? And what's that reason why most Nigerian families have that common trait of your parents had money before, but all of a sudden everything just disappeared? The first thing is there's a different definition of wealth. Our parents had a simpler definition of wealth. Back in the days, wealth was determined by how many tubers of yam you have, how many goats you have, sometimes how many wives you marry. And you need to understand that back then, technology was not a thing. If you're living in Enugu, if you're living in Lagos, you are living in Lagos. You don't know about anyone in Jos, you don't know about anyone in Bayelsa. If at all you knew, the communication gap is very wide. Okay? So people didn't have what to aspire for. The difference between now, Gen Zs, you could be in the comfort of your home and you're seeing your age mates driving luxurious cars, having that expensive vacation, building businesses, making millions of dollars. Our parents didn't have the luxury of that. The only person they were competing with was probably the person next door or someone in their community or in the neighboring community. That's as far as it could. Do you understand? That's why you could hear the richest man is the person that has a certain number of tuber of yams or certain number of goats. So Gen Zs are not ambitious because we were born with the trait. Someone told me that the Gen Zs are more ambitious than millennials because it's in their DNA. No, it's not in their DNA. Gen Zs have just an opportunity to be born in an era where competition is default. It's a must. You can't avoid it. Buy a phone, log on to Instagram, there's competition. You're well versed Whether you want it or not, information always has its way of getting to you. So that competition will already default in flight or fight mode. And we've been born in an era of technology where you don't choose to use technology or not to use technology. That's why I don't dive deeper into that, but just understand that Gen Z's definition of wealth now is no more fixed. If you ask an elite Gen Z, not the normal Gen Zs, if you ask an elite Gen Z, they don't have a cap to how much they want to make. You could ask, that's the difference between common men and elites. The child of a common man, when you ask him how much do you want to make, he gives you a figure. He gives you like, oh, I want to make 3 million naira, I want to make 5 million naira, I want to make 100 million naira. He gives you a figure. But an elite child won't tell you that. He might just tell you, oh, I know I can make a loss, just give me probably capital. Because they understand that there's money, where to invest money is there are lots of places to invest money. There's mutual funds, you could start businesses, if you're with $100 million, you could start, they know that $100 million could finish just by investing in 3 startup companies. And so that's why they're always gunning for more. So they can't put a cap to it. That's why that ambition is there. So they know that $100 million, as big and as life-changing as it is, they could just sponsor like five startup companies, invest it there, and it's gone. So what next after now? That's the way an elite child thinks. So our parents didn't have the luxury of thinking that way. Our parents, once they had food to eat 3 times a day, they had good shelter. They didn't even bother much about clothes. Okay, let's add clothes. They had good clothes. And the most, or the height of their wealth definition, was just to look better than their peers, or to be able to be one of the top people in their community, in their small space. And that's why they are able to settle. That's why if your business is giving you 50,000 naira per month, and that 50,000 naira, of course, doesn't even finish. Because if you've gotten a house, you've gotten food to eat, they go to farms most times. Most of them, food was really cheap that time. I mean, food was really, really cheap that time. I remember my dad telling me that a plate of food was like 25 naira. A plate of food was like kobo. It was calculated in kobo. Cars were 4 naira, 5 naira. In as much as the difference, of course, in exchange is different now. But I wanted to get my point. They didn't have to struggle so much to get what they want, because what they want was not, it was not big. So they could attain their life goals, they could attain their desires as fast as possible. And once they attain it, they are quick to settle for it. Do you understand? The second reason why most of our parents were not billionaires, is they are very good people. They are extremely good people. I mean, you could see an average Nigerian parent having 10,000 naira in their account and their sister calls for 5,000 naira. It would pain them a bit, but they are willing to give. They are willing to give. And this hurts them so much, because you just need to understand that if they gave out of a place of pity and they were not opportuned again to have that mindset of business is business and you can remove emotions from business, you should remove emotions from business. So they didn't even have that luxury of, I'm still going to talk about it, the business education. But our parents were always quick to give. If they have the money, they are giving it. They are not calculating tomorrow or what. They are just giving it so far as they believed in helping people. They were more sympathetic. They were more empathic than business minded. Do you understand? And that's one thing that killed their source of income, because you could see an average Nigerian parent, an average Nigerian back then doing really well. They have the house, they have the car, but they don't have up to like 100K in their account. Why? Because it keeps on going. As the money is coming, something is just coming up. They didn't have, there was nothing like, oh, going to these restaurants to have that feel. The restaurant is charging you like 50,000 naira per meal. The one was Mama Put, was like the local restaurants. They didn't spend so much on food. So you need to know that food was not expensive. Clothes were not that expensive. What then used to take their money? So they were when it comes to relationships, like, this is your mom that's asking you for money. And you will notice the same thing in our Gen Z era. There are lots of things to spend on, but there are most of you who, you stay making money for yourself, but for some reason, that money always leaves your pocket. You're not spending the money on yourself. I mean, you're applying your discipline and doing everything, but it's as if when you make any little income, bills from the house will come, mommy will call, daddy will call, little sister will call, uncle will call, friends will call, and you haven't built. The reason you're still feeling guilty for not giving them, or you give them and start feeling guilty and start beating up yourself, if you continue doing this from today till tomorrow, they will keep on asking. So what you need to do is build what I call financial education and educate yourself. And that leads me to the third thing The third reason why they didn't make a lot of money was they didn't have financial education. They didn't know that there was something like investment. Our parents were they were raised up with the hand to mouth structure of living. And even if they had a lot of money, they still tried to live that way. It was very rare for you to see someone like saving up 2 bars of yam, like someone that is not rich. Oh, I'm talking about the average person buying 52 bars of yam and just keeping it in the house. They feel like it's a waste of money. They'll be like, oh, let me just buy the one that will be enough for us for the next 3 days. After by next tomorrow, we look for what to buy again. So even though they had the money, they didn't think of they didn't think on the larger scale. Our parents didn't know anything about investing. They knew a little bit about saving because the colo was there and the box saving box were there. But that's not like saving. All right. They just probably were stuck in that hamster's wheel of making money. And business education cuts deeper than knowing how to make money, save money, and invest money. It cuts Saving money per se is not the definition of saving money for some people is keeping money somewhere and allowing it to just keeping money somewhere so that you don't spend it. That's the definition our parents had for saving. But savings now is different. There's mutual funds, you could invest in stocks, you could be saving money, but you're keeping it somewhere that it gains interest. Do you understand? So you see that the difference there. And one of the things that I did that helped me build my financial education, and I'm saying this for young people, as basic as it is, one thing you need to understand is we are wired to want things. We are wired to always get what we want, especially if you grew up in a poor background. Automatically, you should just understand by default, you're in the I want this mode. Because you were denied a lot of things when you were younger. So when you start getting money, it's as if you've seen the opportunity just unlocked in your head. That's why when you're with like 50, 100,000 naira, 1 million naira in your account, that canvas, that sneaker, that restaurant, all those places that they weren't a thing to you before starts looking like a thing. Nothing changed. It's just the amount in your bank account. They didn't start promoting to you too much. Your friends didn't start going to the restaurant so much. Not is In your mind, everything just happens. It's a mental construct. You start seeing more people wearing the sneakers you want to get. You start seeing more ads from the restaurants you want to, what you're basically doing, you're trying to give your mind a reason to spend this money. And it's not bad. The thing I'll tell you to do is you should learn to pay yourself. This is what I do. I learned it from the richest man in Babylon. Take 10% of every single income you make. And when I mean 10%, when you learn it, as you watch this video now, you'll be tempted. Probably you earn 100,000 naira tomorrow. You receive 100,000 naira. Because you've heard this thing today, you'll be tempted you've 10,000 naira will feel small to remove. So you want to add 15,000 naira or 20,000 naira. No, stick to the 10,000 naira. Remove 10% from every single income. Keep it somewhere. And you might be confused now. There are lots of places to keep your savings. Honestly, there are lots of places. You could invest in mutual funds. That's what I started doing. Invest in mutual funds. You could open bank account like Stanbic IBTC Bank, Access Bank. Open a money market account. You go there, tell them you want a money market account. You open it. You start with, I think you can start with 5,000 naira. Put your money there. Allow it to gain interest. Every single 10% you remove. Don't save it in another bank account. It reduces in value. Put it in your money market account. Then you take out 30% for your leisure. That's okay. This 30% is where you can now spend money from. If all your friends call you from today till tomorrow that they want money, it's from this 30% that you can send money to them. Of course, you have to be wise. You know that you still have your own needs, so you need to go around lending. Then 60% goes back to the business. And even if it's not the business that gave you that money, if you're in your building phase, you need to see your business as an entity. So you give your 60% to that business. A point came where I was really broke and there's a point that came, I had up to 500,000 naira in my business account and I was dead broke in my leisure account. That's how crazy it was. Okay. And then I was tempted to take money from the 500. Your brain will start coming up with stories. You suffered, though. You have tried it this life. Just taking 10,000 naira from 500 is not going to mean too much. But you need to understand that it's not about the money. It's about the discipline that you're building. It's about the discipline you're displaying, you're developing that character that keeps you in check. It's not about the money. It's never about the money. The money has been here for ages. You're trying to build the discipline, that character that, oh, this is my business money, I'm not going to touch it. This is my leisure money, I can spend it. This is the savings. Do you understand? So that's just like a rough construct of why our parents didn't have as much money. And if you've been asking that question, if you had that experience, type experience in the comment section, because I've seen it across a lot of people and till today, some people still say that they didn't experience it, but majority of my friends experienced this: the abundance in the beginning and then the lack towards the end. And it has this way of playing with your mind, because a point comes where you're now scared. When you start making money, you've just been trained, like you've seen it happen to your granddad, your dad. Now you think it's going to happen to you. No, I've given you the reason so that you don't think it's a family course or a generational course. It's not. It's just this lack of discipline, the lack of financial education, business education for them. Okay, so I was going to, before I round up this video, when speaking to the point of giving to other people when you don't have, it's just like you can never help someone if you're in need. I'll tell you why. What we're usually wired to do is, you say help your neighbor, do all these things, and you really want to help, you really want to give, but you can't give from an empty cup. The reason someone is asking you for help is because they are in a place of help, and it will be hurting yourself if you go to put yourself in that place of help to help them. You give them so much money, you become bankrupt. It doesn't make any sense. So it's just like, imagine four bamboo sticks. Just like, imagine a table. Yeah, the four sticks are there. You've put a very thin slab at the top. You want to build a strong table, and someone is by the side. Someone asks you for a stick or a piece of wood. Instead of you building your own, you're going to give them that slab that's on top. Your four bamboo sticks will definitely fall down. Do you understand? It's better to build yourself to the point where you can take a little and give them. I promise you're not the only person in their life. You just need to understand that. If you don't help them today, they don't even know if you have it or not. They're just asking. What if you truly didn't have it? Will you go and borrow from another person? No. And one mistake you should never ever make is borrowing to lend to another person. I ask you for money, you don't have the money because I'm very close to you. I'm your boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend, I'm the love of your life. You can never survive without me. You go to borrow from another person to help me. That's the most foolish financial mistake you make. Don't even try it. Okay? So you have to build yourself first. And I understand the pressure that comes as a first son, as a first daughter. That pressure of what all these things you've been doing online, where is it going? They start seeing you change some things. They don't understand it's from your 30%. So they think that is now right, is the best time to charge you, to bill you, to tell you, put family matters on you. I understand this, but I promise you it's not going to be easy. But if you carve out 4 months and tell yourself 4 months you're going to be strictly disciplined with your money. If you don't have the money to settle any bill at home, you say you don't have the money. You're not helping just yourself, you're helping both yourself and them, because if you keep on following this loop of helping them when you're not fully helped, the next 8 months you will still be in that loop. By the 8 months, you're seeing 5 million naira has gone through your account, but there's nothing to write home about. So if you just bring out 4 months, that's all I ask you to do. 4 months, be financially strict with yourself. Okay? I promise you, you're going to help both yourself, family members, every other, your loved ones, all of them, because you have enough to give them. I believe I've helped you with this video. I have a community of young business owners. I'm not treat young business owners. I believe I've helped you with this video. Now, if you're a young person and specifically you're a course creator, you've created a course, but it's not making sales. You know, you've packaged your knowledge, you've done everything, but it's not making sales. I was in that position for like 8 months. I created my training, listed it on Seller, and I paid Seller 8,000 naira for 3 whole months with no sale. And this was my life savings I was using to pay for this subscription to keep my course on their platform. Until I figured out what exactly you need to do to make more sales with your course, because it's not the generic advice they give. So I've compiled 7 reasons why your course is not selling. And don't worry, it's free. Just hit the link in the description. It will take you to my community, where I'm building a community for course creators. Okay, you join that community, you have access to that resource. I'm 100% sure, and it's not just I made it practical. So the way the resource is there are questions I've asked, and if you're able to answer all those questions properly, you find your solution for yourself. I'm not even kidding you, because this will work for me, and it has worked for multiple business owners I've helped scale their businesses from 6 figures to 7 figures per month. Okay, so all you need to do is you gain access to that group, gain access to the resource, go through it, ask yourself, it's like a template, you go through it, you can print it out, do anything you want. I made it available for you. Okay, it's free, so just join with the link in the description. I believe I've helped you with this video. I've said it the third time. Of course, share this video with just 3 of your friends, no more, no less. If you got value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe button. Majority of you that watch my videos here, you're not subscribed. Why? You need to subscribe because it gives this channel more visibility. Do you want to be collecting the knowledge alone? Hit the subscribe button now. Like now. We need to hit 1,000 subscribers before this year runs out. So join that movement of making it possible. Okay? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with just 3 of your friends. No more, no less. As always, where you are right now, it's not your final destination. I shall meet you at the top. But for now, lock in, represent. God bless.